Welcome to 561 Music. My name's Ben.
And I'm Hector.
How are you doing, Hector?
Doing pretty good. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good, actually. I've been getting a lot of sun and taking my walks on the beach, my medicinal walks on the beach.
Perks of living in Florida, man.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's literally the only downside of changing my job is that I don't go to it via US 1 anymore, so I'm not right next to the beach on my way to work, but I just have to leave half an hour earlier, and that's fine. It's not the end of the world.
All right, well, that's not too bad. That's not too bad, man.
Yeah, it's really the kind of problems that if you complain about, people get pretty angry.
What do they say? First world problems?
Oh, yeah, something like that, yeah. No, so it's all good. It's all good in my world, and yeah, we got some great guests this week. We got Mark Shubert and Paddy King. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Doing great.
Cool. Otherwise known as Mangrove Mark and the Fiddle King.
Yeah, man. We're glad to be here.
Yeah, man.
Who's who?
Yeah, let's not let them know until you play later on, and then they'll be able to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you guys are two of the wonderful band String Assassins.
Yes.
And because we're in Killbillies and there's like quite a large amount of crossover in terms of the music and stuff.
Very much so.
We've been kind of rubbing along a little bit with different members and different kind of like playing the same venues for years and years, haven't we?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's been great. And unfortunately, the person who I originally got in touch with to come on this show, because I know him a tiny bit better than I know any of the other of you guys, was Matt. Yeah. Because years ago he used to actually play in Killbillies.
Yeah, I remember he said that he used to sit in with you guys.
Yeah, he used to occasionally dep for me if I wasn't there or stuff like that. Yeah. And and he had like the same like carbon fiber guitar too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He had that for a while.
Yeah. Mine got
played that same style of music.
Yeah,
totally.
Exactly. So it was him who I reached out to, and then he's moved to North Carolina, and we all wish him the best. But I was like, oh no, what do I do? So he gave me your number, and we figured it out. So I'm so glad that we managed to carry on doing it, despite the fact that that Matt's moved away. So why don't we get cracking with these questions that I ask everyone? And the first one is, why did you start playing music, and what was the kind of what was the environment around you like in your early life when you sort of first realized that you were into music?
Well, I think for me it was probably that obvious because I am old. It was the Beatles probably had a lot to do with it. I mean, I was 10 years old. I got my first guitar from Sears.
Right.
Nice. It was a $25 Silvertone,
Okay.
And just, I guess like everybody at that age, want to play the guitar, man. And
yeah.
So my dad hooked me up with lessons, which I did horrible at because I didn't practice at all.
Yeah.
But then by 12 years old, my best friend at the time, he had an older brother who was 16 who played in a band, and we literally at 12 formed a band, So I got another guitar, and he bought a bass, and we just started playing. And we were lucky. My parents had a house that we could play at, so we just did that whole thing.
So you were the house that could have the band practice.
Yeah, exactly. That was my house.
Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
The Rolling Stones, Cream, The Who, all those from that era.
Yeah.
And probably by 14, was out playing around all over the place. It was really funny because we used to have to get somebody's older brother to drive us to the gigs because we weren't old enough to drive.
Oh wow! You really have been doing it since early on. I had no idea. That's really cool. So you're from round here, aren't you? Where we're recording this very podcast.
A mile away.
That's
literally.
Crazy. What was it like back then around here?
There was nothing out here. I mean, there was North Lake Boulevard was 2 lanes. Military Trail was 2 lanes. There was no PGA National.
There was
nothing
past Military Trail back then. It was just woods back then.
Yeah, no, it was. With a VA hospital, there was all that was all woods. It was, I look back and I think, what a great place to grow up. I mean, I learned to drive when I was 12. My dad had a '63 Volkswagen, and he was just like, let me take. I go. I'm just going to take it over to the neighbor's house, my friend, and I would just go drive around the woods for hours at a time. So it was kind of nice.
Yeah, even since I've been here, I've noticed a change in Jupiter. Like I've been coming here for 15 years, And even in that time, it's like changed, almost beyond recognition.
Oh, drastically.
It's crazy.
Oh,
Drastically.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, since you've been, I was born and raised here, so.
Oh, whereabouts?
West Palm. I mean,
Okay.
I've pretty much been in West Palm my whole life. So,
Right.
So I have to ask you, what venues? Do you remember any of your early venues that you've played at?
No, I really no. Actually, at a young age,
Yeah.
it was parties, but there were what place that was really interesting was where the brew house is, of course.
Yeah.
Across the street there, where the town center is, or whatever that place, we used to play upstairs. They call it the Mirror Ballroom.
Oh, cool.
And we used to play there quite a bit. It was a lot of fun. And then, we got to the point where, we were up into like 16, 17 years old. We got to play. We weren't playing bars, but we did some little small. I think one time we did a festival with like 2,000 people. I think it's the biggest crowd we were ever in front of. Just
yeah,
that's funny.
But it was a lot of fun. But I did something that a lot of people didn't do, and I stopped playing live for a pretty long period of time. I mean, I kept playing,
right,
but then I didn't really just play out live for quite a period of time.
That's funny. I did the same thing. I played out with a couple of bands until I was like maybe 19, 20-ish.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until I was like 25, 26 that I ran into a buddy of mine in a parking lot at Home Depot or whatever. Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, you still play bass?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dabble, whatever." And then somehow he needed a bass player and I started playing again. But I probably had a good 5 or 6 year stint where I didn't play. But like with the early venues and stuff, I was just curious because we did the same thing, at 15, 16, 17. We were playing parties mostly. Somebody's sister's whatever had a big party and we would get invited to play. And I was also the house that everybody got to practice at. Which
was like that too, right?
Which was most likely the only reson I was even in the band. They were like, "Look, you can't play, but you got a house we can practice at." But just funny story. We our first gig out in a venue was this like country whatever bar. It was a lot like the Blues Brothers, with like the chicken wire and people throwing crap at you and what. I mean, it was just crappy. But it was over on Congress Avenue, over near the sheriff's, and it's what has now become Tees Lounge.
Yeah.
And so I always pass that place. Tees Lounge is a strip club.
Right.
And so I always pass that place, and it's hilarious because I'll tell my kids like, "Oh yeah, Dad played a gig there once," and my kids are like, "But Dad, that's I'm like, "I know."
Mm-hmm. You know what? One of the first paying gigs we got was actually at a temple on Flagler.
Oh wow!
Which was we got $60 or something like that.
That's cool.
That's hilarious.
I want to say that I didn't start. No, that's not true. I was doing it in my teenage years too, but I was at a boarding school, so it was a bit different. So we only really got to play like at school in like assembly and stuff like that. And then every now and again there'd be some weird circumstance where there was like in the town near the school there was like a mini festival and we got to play that and stuff. But I was kind of in my teenage years I was like locked away in this weird boarding school. But you've been playing music
Patty,
your whole life too.
Patty's got us all beat it pretty much.
Yeah, I started playing at 8 and my dad plays and that's how I started really.
Your dad's a fiddle player.
He is.
Right.
And among other things.
Okay.
He plays he dabbles around all sorts of stuff. So.
Yeah, I've met him years ago when Killbillies used to play at Carson's. Your dad would bring you out, wouldn't he? And you'd play with us, so that was cool.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was good times.
Must have been in like 2007, 8.
I want to say it was. I moved here in 2009, so 2009, 2010.
So 10, 9, 10. Okay.
It was 2010 around then, and it was like Redhead Boy stuff like that, wasn't it? You do all the fiddle tunes. And,
Yep.
Yeah.
All the ones you make me do now.
Yeah. We had because
fun.
Right, the we had all these medleys, didn't we? That could go into the different fiddle tunes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We still do a lot of those songs, but like now it's kind of like everything's kind of the same but different. We do a lot of the same songs, but we've kind of just changed them around.
You do a lot of mandolin now and stuff instead of fiddle.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of the poor man's violin, isn't it?
No, not at all. I love the mandolin.
Yeah. I saw Yeah, you play a bit of mandolin, don't you?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do some.
Yeah, I really like it. I don't have particularly big hands, so it kind of suits me actually. Like, whereas I feel like I'll never be like a virtuosic guitar player because like there's just some stretches I just can't reach.
Yeah, I
you
kind
know.
of feel that same way too.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
in my mind, I can do it. In my head, I'm doing it, man. But yeah,
You're like, I'm shredding.
the fingers are going. No, we're not.
No, we're not.
We're going a little bit slow. It's a slow zone.
That's
right
the
here.
excuse I use anyway. No, that's not true. But they are a little small, so mandolin works really good for I can
Yeah.
reach everything.
I'm going to ask a question, and I might get laughed away from the table, but is there I hear you guys interchanging violin and fiddle. Is there a difference between a violin and a fiddle, or are they really the same thing just with a different name?
They are really the same thing, but it's just the way you play it, really. The setup sometimes.
Okay. Now-
Fiddle players have more of like a flat, the bridge is a little more flat, so you can play more than one string at the same time, easier.
Okay.
Other than that,
Is there any difference with like the physical shape of the bow or anything like that?
I play with a really weird bow,
Right.
but no, not really. The tension maybe
Right.
would be a little tighter typically for a fiddle.
Okay.
So
That's awesome. So yeah, when you were growing up, what was your dad playing you? What kind of music was he getting you into?
well, I'd just go to sleep and he'd be playing like old Irish tunes, Cajun music.
Right, so it was getting soaked
things
in
like
there
that.
real early on.
Yeah, old fiddle tunes and things, and I just thought it was really cool. And
Yeah.
I'd stay up and play with them instead of go to bed because it was more fun. So
I think
and
that's
now
like-
here we are.
That's like every musician's dream is to have like a child that is as into it as they are, and that doesn't very often happen. I don't
Yeah.
think,
Yeah, I
know?
was the only one in my family
Yeah.
that played music. I mean, my parents played, but by the time they had kids, they had given up. My dad played trumpet, my mom played piano, but when I grew up, there was no trumpet or piano in the house. But
Right.
they had played. My dad played in the.
They could read music a little bit. and
Yeah.
kind of understood it a little bit.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I'm on the opposite spectrum of that. Like I have a son that is a ridiculous musician. He just has no desire to play with dad. You know,
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's just not. It's not cool. You know? So
Aw.
It will be someday.
yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
We'll
You
see.
hold out for that one. It's fine.
Right.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah. I bet you'd be surprised. I bet someday it'll be like, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, so I remember you coming sort of blasting kind of onto the scene as this young fella, and then we got to play with you for a brief period of time. And then how long have you been playing with the String Assassins now?
Ooh, man. It's
A long time, huh?
I don't know.
Maybe
At least
7
5
years. I was gonna
years.
say 5,
At least
yeah.
5 years for me.
Wow.
We were together 7. Of course, the last year doesn't really count that much, but 7.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, easily 4 or 5. Yeah. The doctor kept saying, "There's this kid, man. We got to get him in here, man." And we were going like, "Oh, okay, all right, sounds good." So we were playing at the Crafted Keg one night, and Patty was playing with somebody else out in the parking lot, and we were playing at night, doing that 9 to 1 gig, and. So he's like, "Oh, he's gonna come in and sit in with us," and we're like, "Okay." So he comes in and sits, and we're just like, "Yeah,
I know.
oh yeah, yeah."
Oh, so we just don't need to do anything then? He can just do it all? Okay.
Yeah, this is like the heavy lifting thing. We let him do all the heavy lifting, and it just fit, man. It was like this. It's like this perfect fit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was
that's
just a nice energy already that was already
Cool.
there. So it was
Yeah.
very fun to just tap into a little bit, And
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, did somebody invite you and tell you like, hey, go play in the parking lot, and then you can sit in with these guys, or was it all pre-planned, or was it just coincidental?
So one of the guitar players, Dr. J, I was playing at a place called Be Merry. I guess they had a spot in downtown Stewart, like off just, I don't remember where it was, just one of the little side streets. And then they moved into where that post office arcade is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they were in there. So we were playing in there. And he shows up with a guitar and he's just kind of jamming in right in my face. He's like, "Oh, you got to play in our band, blah, 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 blah."
Right.
All this stuff. And I was like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure."
Coming on a little strong.
Yeah, right. And eventually, it took a little while, but maybe half a year later or so, somewhere we just happened to, there was a festival going on at the Keg.
Yeah.
And they had like all day music, so I played before the String Assassins. So
Gotcha,
I just
gotcha,
kind of
gotcha.
stayed. He's like, "Now that you're here, you have to stay." And I'm like,
Yeah, there
okay,
you
fine.
go.
And I'm glad I did.
And the rest was history.
Yeah, and here we are.
And here we are.
And he's hated it ever since.
Yes,
I know you played a lot with Micah Scott over the years too, haven't you?
I have.
You've done
Yeah.
a lot with his like solo project and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've done all sorts of different things together. So
Yeah,
that's
been
cool.
on tour with him and stuff, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were out on the road a little bit. We did some stuff in the Carolinas and stuff like that with his little project thing that was going on. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
absolutely.
So, this question is it's about songwriting and whether you have a writing process. The reason I ask it is because I'm genuinely curious about it, and I have my own ways of writing music, and I just wondered if you guys have an approach to it, and one, if you write, and two, how do you do so?
I like to write. I don't do enough of it.
Right.
But like I was saying before, I tend to write a lot of guitar parts.
Right.
The lyrics is the kind of the issue I've got going on now, where I really want them to be meaningful. You know what I mean? Rush versus Kiss kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, sure.
So I kind of struggle with that, but
Lick It Up is not meaningful.
yeah.
What's that awful one about gin? Is that
I don't
stupid
even
song
know.
about drinking gin? It doesn't matter. Carry on.
Let me put my log in your fireplace. I don't know. But I do write a lot of stuff on the guitar. Pieces. Progressions, and I kind of dabble with it. Actually, more now than I have ever.
That's great.
Recorded at times, and so I'm headed down that pathway. I'm just not as much as some people, but.
Sure.
I love to do it. I mean, the thought process is just, I just love it, man. I'd love to be able to just, and I used to, for a long time, I started singing about 15 years ago or 16 years ago. Before that, I didn't sing, and so it just makes it even better that I can sing, because then I can actually put it all together.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've only been singing that short of a time? I didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty much. Maybe a little bit longer, but maybe
Wow.
16, 17 years, yeah.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I sang, but I just not, as a performer so much.
Right, gotcha.
I did a duo with Tango Ray
Right,
for
cool.
about 3 years, and he really encouraged me. So, and I like to sing.
Yeah.
So he just was like, here's a microphone stand, sing. So, and I did. And then from there, I went to doing solo, and I love to sing. It's just.
How's the music scene changed from your sort of perception down here over the years? Is there sort of anything that you've noticed happening, as the areas changed? I
don't know. It seems to be. I don't know. It seems to be somewhat the same. I mean,
Right.
It's obviously, as you know as well as I do, it's just new venues open up. New venues close. They open
Right.
them up.
Gotcha.
I have to say, I think the music community is pretty good. I mean, everybody seems to get along well with everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's just-
totally.
Obviously, there's a few people here and there, but for the most part, it's kind of nice. I mean, people get along. There's not too much backstabbing going on. Or
Yeah, that really is true. I mean, there's a little bit of bitching here and there, but I think that's just human nature, is what it is. And I think
He's
that,
talking about me, really. But
no, it is true. It is friendly, and that's something that we talk about quite a lot on here. And it's something that my mum over in England listens to this, and she goes, "Oh, it's so nice to hear that you all know each other and you all get along." She loves it.
yeah, I think, and it's kind of very cool that's that way. I mean, if you.
it's interesting though, because I've always felt just being in different bands around town that there are two distinct circles of musicians in town:
Right.
the cover bands
Yeah.
and the original bands.
Yeah.
And there's bands like us that play both,
Right.
Yeah.
but we kind of fit more into that original band circle. You guys, for whatever reason, you mostly just play covers, but I still feel like you guys fit into that. You guys are part of that original band circle more so.
We set out to do that purposely. I mean, we really did. We said, it started off. I don't know if you know, but it started off as just an acoustic trio.
Yeah.
Right.
With Matt and the doctor and I, and we purposely set down that path and said we wanted to do kind of obscure stuff to a certain degree, not the same stuff everybody was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wanted to just do our own versions of it, which is what it became.
Absolutely.
And then, Matt brought in great originals. I mean, we had, like I said, I think 5 or 6 originals that we were doing towards the end there. And
Have you guys ever done much recording?
well, we did. Yeah, we actually went at some point in time and recorded, I think 5 of those songs, and they're sitting somewhere
In the can, just waiting.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're marinating.
Yeah,
We're just waiting. You know?
Yeah.
Waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
Which we should actually bring, because you know how it is when you go to a show and people are like, hey, you got something on CD, and we're like, yeah, it's
Kind
coming.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do know what that's like.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah,
I know
it's-
very well what that's like.
People ask all the time. So.
Yeah, we've got like a quite a lot of original tunes that are new, and I've been writing relatively steadily over the last couple of years, but yeah, we're sitting on it all, and just we released a live album to kind of fill the gap,
Right.
just so we could have something to sell at shows, and also I think it's pretty cool. Like it came out pretty well. We did it here actually.
Oh, really?
We did like a live stream out of here, and I just thought it was cool, and I thought it came out pretty good. So my brother's a mastering engineer, and I just sent it to him to sort it out. And
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he fixed it all up and kind of gave it a bit of a spit and polish, and we just released it as an album.
Yeah, we did something similar to that. We recorded one night at Guanabana's, one night, and it came out really. It was just one of those, I call them on fire nights, man.
Sure.
We were just, it was one of those nights where everything was just perfect, pitch perfect, and we recorded it and sent it off to a guy, and they kind of mixed it, and we have it on Reverb Nation, but we never put it out as a CD. So
Okay. Yeah, I was having a little bit of a poke around to see what I could find, and I didn't look there. So yeah, that's where I'll...
Reverb Nation, and what's the other one? SoundCloud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was...
It's like 11 tunes that we did.
I somewhat naively kind of just assume everyone's on Spotify now, but not everybody is. And actually, Spotify is a rip-off. So it's kind of a good thing that you're not on it.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
They don't pay the bands properly. It's incredibly convenient.
Here's your
to have the-
fraction of a penny for the
Yeah,
stream.
yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You've been streamed 36,000 times. Here's $11.
I remember when it came out, I was so excited about it, and the manager of my band at the time was just like, the thought of it was horrifying to him, because it was like, well, how are we going to make any money? And, there was me all kind of wide-eyed and kind of naive, being like, yeah, but it's just such great kind of advertising, and then, make the money by playing and stuff like that, which is basically what everything's become.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that we were just stepping into a world where you just can't sell music.
Well, that's why all these big bands are touring all the time, and they're playing, 300 shows a year or whatever, because that's where the only place they can make money now anymore. Nobody buys music anymore.
Yeah.
No, they don't. Yeah, you're right.
They stream it and you make a few bucks off of it, but nobody buys music anymore.
Yeah, I mean, unless I'm doing it because it's, a band that I want to support or something, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And if some people don't have to do something, they generally don't. So, it's unfortunate but true. Necessity.
I mean, I have to do the podcast because Ben makes me do it, but but
I
otherwise,
thought it was because you loved me. That was me barking up the wrong tree all this time. So this question's always fun. Do you practice at home?
I try to play every day.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I practice, but I always say, I've been saying this for years, I'm a very undisciplined guitar player. I've never sat down and learned a song exactly the way it's supposed to go, because for some reason I just have no patience for that. I have longevity going on. That's what I got going on at this point. But yeah, I have several guitars that sit right by the couch, and I play usually I like to play in the morning. Get some coffee going, and I sit there and just play.
Yeah, nice.
I do enjoy that a lot,
Yeah, I think that a lot of the people who play tons of gigs, it kind of don't because you're always, you kind of feel like you're playing all the time, so you don't want to when you're at home. But there's as anyone who listens to this show knows, I have a bit of a lifestyle change over the last couple of years, stopped drinking and stuff, and I found that. Now I'm a little bit less kind of hazy in the mornings. I'm definitely playing a lot more at home. I'm practicing a lot more in the days and stuff. Do you practice?
Well, Violin, I don't really practice too much anymore for the exact same reason that you just said.
Yeah.
I'm just playing a lot. So typically, I've got a lot of other instruments that I play
Right.
as well. I play cello and things like that too. So
Yeah.
usually if I'm going to practice, I give it the attention to something else that I don't typically
That makes sense.
play.
That makes
Yeah, I
sense,
got you.
Because, everything needs work. And all the bowed instruments are really demanding instruments, all the fretless stuff to get everything right,
Yeah.
in tune. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Get that
kind of it's
intonation
tough
right.
to keep everything up. You can only do so
Yeah.
much. So
So aside from the violin, and you play a 5-string violin, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a unique instrument. Do a lot of people play those?
I've seen some.
Right.
It's I
What
feel like
prompted
it's
you to do it?
I actually I played a gig I was in a band called Strung Like a Horse for a while.
That's right. I remember
in
that.
Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And we
great name.
went
I was
to
gonna say that.
yeah.
That's
First
a
of all,
the
great
name
band,
itself
yeah.
just is
Great band
awesome,
name.
man.
Yeah.
And they're really
yeah.
amazingly good. They're a really amazing band too.
Well, we went and played, and I actually left my fiddle behind. We were on our way to Pennsylvania, and
Right.
I had a dream halfway through because we stopped in like West Virginia somewhere.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, I left my fiddle. No, I didn't. I couldn't have done that. So I woke up and checked in the back, and sure enough, it was not there.
Oh,
So
man. I've done that a million times.
Called
so
a whole
right.
bunch of people on the way there, and he was trying to find a little something. And it turned out at the festival we were at, there was another fiddle player who was playing that same brand of violin that I'm playing now, which is called the Realist.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's a 5-string acoustic electric. It's got 2 pickups in it.
Oh, it comes with all that stuff.
Mhm.
That's
It's already
awesome.
set up, and you can adjust it right on the side. There's 2 little knobs, and
Yeah.
you have volume, tone. You can do all that stuff right on board, which is cool.
That's great. What does a thing like that go for?
That one's about maybe 2.5
Right.
grand, somewhere between that and 3. That's about that price range, which is reasonably affordable for a nice violin.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Hector was talking about it before we started recording, but both Hector and I scratch away on them in the privacy of our own homes. But I don't know if either's going to emerge with it anytime soon, but we'll see.
We'll see. I'd like to believe that one day I'll just surprise you at a gig and be like, "Oh, I'm playing violin on this song," but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's going to happen anytime soon.
But it could happen.
Could happen.
It could.
It's not.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. What do I always say? I always say everything's possible. It's just not probable.
I like that one. That's good.
Yeah.
So, your band, you're in a Led Zeppelin tribute band called In the Light of Led Zeppelin. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
yeah, it's a Zeppelin tribute band, and it's kind of original kind of lineup. There's how many? There's 4 female players in the band now, or maybe it's 3. There's piano, bass, vocals, guitar, drums, and then I'm playing cello in it, and we have a violinist. So
Oh, cool.
we kind of have like a symphonic thing going on as
Yeah.
well, which is cool.
Yeah, that sounds
Um,
awesome.
So yeah.
So are you doing straight covers? Are you trying to get it to sound the same as Led
Yeah,
Zeppelin?
I will sort of.
Right.
There's arranging going on, and like I
Right.
said, we have some string stuff coming in, so
Right.
too, which kind of changes it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of both. It's fun. You
That's
just have
cool.
to check it out.
Yeah, I've
for
got
sure.
to. I've got to
Yeah,
come and see it.
definitely.
Absolutely.
They
Yeah.
are really good. I've heard them before. They're really good. Yeah.
That's awesome. I keep seeing you guys playing around. I got to make it out. The problem with playing all the time is you never get to see anyone
you
else.
never get to see people. I know.
Yeah, it
I know.
sucks. The other thing that you guys are doing is you play out as a duo.
Yes.
don't you?
Yeah.
What, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I've been doing a solo thing for a long time, and
Right.
once the band got kicked in, then I didn't really do much solo, just a few little things here and there because the band
Yeah.
was busy all the time. And so, but once I started playing with Paddy, I just thought, man, that would just be fun.
Yeah.
And so what happened was we got a gig at Yesteryear Village out at the South Florida Fair in January. They did a little mini fair, and I had
cool.
played in the beer garden with a friend of mine from Trailer Trash. We used to do the beer garden thing as a duo for years. I think it would have been our 8th year, but
Yeah.
he decided not to do it this year, so he kind of gave me the contact numbers, and I called him, and they said, well, we don't have anything in the beer garden, but we have something in the Yesteryear Village. And I go, I have a fiddler. Perfect.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
that kind of started it, and it just went well. I mean, we played together for so long anyway, but we just,
Great.
we have that same frame of mind for some whatever reason, you know.
Yeah.
And I like it because I can make all kinds of mistakes, and he just goes right along with it.
Right,
So
right.
it works
They're so amazed by
Yeah.
him, they don't even notice. Right?
Yeah. No one's telling me you
Well,
did that
we
wrong.
can just go wherever we want. That's the cool part.
Which we
Yeah.
do. We kind of like, you know, even in that comes from being that undisciplined guitar player. It's just kind of our own versions of everything, kind of.
Yeah.
No, well, that's Killbillies too. You know,
Yeah,
it's. I don't think we ever really play the same song twice the same.
Yeah.
You know? Like structurally is always kind of change. I'd like to say that that's on purpose, but it's not always.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just ends up
And
different.
I think audiences really pick up on that, and they like that. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they really do. A lot of people really enjoy that you're doing what you're doing. You know, they see it.
Yeah.
They hear it. They see it.
Yeah, and the setup with kind of bluegrass type sort of bands and groups just really lends itself to covering other material in that style. You know,
Yeah.
it's just everything sounds great like that.
Yeah.
You know, you could pick any song. And
Yeah,
do it
exactly.
in a bluegrassy style. It sounds great. You know,
And we do.
exactly. Yeah. Like we're down to a trio now. But we've dabbled with fiddle players over the years. You know, Paddy played with us a bit, and we had this girl Caitlin who used to play with us all the time.
Oh, did we meet Caitlin?
Caitlin Trezise is her name.
Oh, that's somebody's
think so.
daughter.
Yeah, and I can't remember his name, but
We've met her before.
yeah, she's great. She's a really good player. She is a violin player
Right.
who will grudgingly learn fiddle tunes. But like she does do it, but it's not her thing. But but she's always been very kind to me, and she played on the second Killbillies album, did all the fiddle on that. She was really good. And also Carl Schmidt, you know that guy?
Yeah, we know Carl. He actually, when Paddy was busy with the polka guy.
Oh, yeah, I was in a polka band.
He was
for
in a
while,
polka
too.
band.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, you should ask him about that. Well, anyway, so he was gone
Yeah.
pretty often because this guy used to do, 260 shows a year.
Yeah,
I think he
I
did
don't know, a
something.
lot.
That's what he told me one day.
A whole lot.
But we had Carl sitting with us, yeah.
Yeah.
He's an amazing player.
He's really good. I actually saw him last Friday because I've been doing he had me come and do he works in treatment centers
Yeah.
and I went and did one where we were playing music to some ladies who had to go to treatment, for drug and alcohol problems, and also I think there were some people in there who just had mental health problems outside of addiction, but I sort of strung together a whole load of my songs and kind of because I've been to AA and stuff. I have like my story or whatever,
Yeah.
and so I kind of strung it together with all the songs I've written, and it was really actually great, cathartic. I'm not going to lie to you. I shed a tear. On it.
Yeah, right,
But they seem to like it. They seem, I think it might be something I get more into. Actually, is recovery. Seeing as I've been clean a little bit of time now, and I think it's
music is therapeutic, man. so-
absolutely it
It
is,
is
and
very
and
therapeutic,
my mum
yeah.
is a therapist, and I think she always wanted me to do something therapy related, so I'm going to pursue that avenue.
And Carl's heavily into it, man.
He really is, and
Yeah.
I know that his main gig with that, he hasn't been able to. Well, one of his main gigs with Grace Notes, where he goes to like places for people who are like learning difficulties and stuff like that,
Right.
disabled people. He can't do that right now because of COVID. So
Yeah.
so he's been looking for other things and doing slightly different stuff than he usually does, but he's kind of waiting on COVID to clear up. Anyway, shout out to Carl. Yeah. So it's so lovely to have you here. And really, the only other thing that I have to say to you is to ask you to play us some music, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, I think we could do that. Couldn't we?
I think we can do that too.
What do you think?
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Let's do it.
ballroom, corner by the square, where the usual drinks will be served, and all the usual people were all there. Well, I was standing next to Joe McKennedy. His eyes were bloodshot red, and he looked at the gang around him. These were the very words that he said. Well, I went down to St. James Infirmary, see my baby there. She was stretched out on a long white table, so young, so cold, so fair. When I die, please bury me in my high top Stetson hat. There's a $20 gold piece in my watch chain to let the Lord know I'm not standing back. Well, there was 17 cold black horses pulling a retired hack. There were 7 girls gone to the graveyard, but only 6 of them are coming back. To St. James Infirmary, see my baby there. She was stretched out on a long white table, so young, so cold, so fair. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. No, you're right, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Gonna miss your baby, you're rolling in your own. Laid down last night, but I could not take my rest. Laid down last night, but I could not take my rest. My mind was wandering like a wild geese in the west. I was a headlight on a southbound train. Wish I was a headlight on a southbound train. Shine my light through the cool Colorado rain. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. No, you're right, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Gonna miss you, baby, rolling in you.
So the sponsor for this week's show is our longtime sponsor, Handlebars Bar and Grill, and it's a place that my father-in-law has reopened. It used to be called Judy's on US Highway 1, right into Cuesta, like right on the border of Martin County and Palm Beach County, and it's a biker bar. But you don't have to be a biker to come and check it out. You know, you can. There's like plenty of parking either side of it. Just come and visit and hang out. We have great beer in there, a bunch of different beers on tap, which was always one of the things with Judy's that he took great pride in because he was German and he used to have a bunch of German beers. So
Victor.
Yeah, Victor, yeah.
He's a character.
He is a character. He still comes in, actually.
Does he really?
Yeah, he's still around. And, and he very much approves of the way we've sort of carried it on because all we really did was clean it up a bit because it got a bit grubby and reopen the doors.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's up and running. We have bands on. We do a bike night on the second Thursday of every month. We do music on Saturday afternoon/evening and music on Sunday afternoons. And we have a whole range of different acts at the moment because I'm still kind of, I book for the place, book the music. So I'm just looking for to see what sticks, and so I'm still kind of like going through all sorts of different types of bands, so you never know what to expect up there at the moment. Come and check it out, and there's all sorts of interesting music going on. I also have great food. Bernsey does a grand job of serving up the food there, and so go in there, have a chat with Bernsey the chef, have a chat with Jamie behind the bar, and get a pint and get some food.
So you don't have to be a biker to go. But can I use it as an excuse to become a biker?
You
can. I tell my wife that if I go there, I have to be a biker.
Yeah, you absolutely can do that.
Mostly for the chaps. I just want to wear the chaps.
That's great. All right, so that was really great, guys. Is there
That was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So we play one of those. We do. I know you ride like 4 times a week. That is a well-worn song for us. So really,
but we don't play it anything like that.
No.
So you're saying I know. You know you writer.
Exactly.
I know you know.
I don't know.
I think we all know you know.
I know.
But it is one of the reason we do play it so much is because I love it. I love the song. So it's really interesting to hear your version of it. And was there any kind of thought behind how can you pick those 2 tunes to play?
Well, mostly because we don't have original tunes, so we had to do something that was traditional. And these
Sure.
are two the I Know You Rider we've been doing in the String Assassins from the very beginning. So
Yeah.
we played that song. Same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, we
Just
used,
last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to use it as a closer most of the time
Right,
because
yeah.
it was we had this big build up at the end, and
Great,
it was just, everybody at the end would all come together. It was just a great build up.
It's so great the way it works. You can take it down, you can build it up, and it just
Which we actually used to do. We used
Yeah.
to actually do that. We used to break it down. Then we went into this D minor funk thing that we had in the middle of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of where that came from. But the other St. James Infirmary is just an old traditional. Like I was saying, we did Yesteryear Village, and before we went to play, I thought, well, let me find out what time period it was. Should we be wearing overalls or what should we do here? They're like, well, not really, but. So they said the time period was like the 30s, so I just did some research to see what songs, that we could do that came out of that time period.
oh, cool.
And that was one of them. And then we just really like it. So, I mean, when we do our duo, we play it pretty much every time. It's a very cool song to play.
Yeah, a friend of mine, a guy I know from the punk scene down here who's moved out to New Orleans called Pablo Kalash does like an amazing version. Like, you should check it out. It's somewhere online. I think it's on YouTube. I'll point you towards it. He just does this like he made a video of him playing it like I think he's on Bourbon Street, like underneath a street lamp with some like
nice.
other street
Yeah.
musicians playing it, and it's so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's such a jam, man. I really enjoyed listening to those tunes. And man, Paddy, you're shredding. It was
Aw.
amazing.
Thank you.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
So-
what Patty does.
I
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
make noise. I don't know.
It's awesome. So yeah, we got some pictures of you guys' pedal boards. Let's see which one is going to come up first. So this one is Mark's.
Mark's.
Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your pedal, Mark?
It's a Trace Elliott. The reason I like it, I used to play the LR Bags.
Right.
I think it was the D1, but
Yeah.
very nice for acoustic playing, but really no effects in it.
Yeah.
And then actually something happened to it, and I had to send it off to get it repaired. And I was literally going to buy another one, and somebody turned me on to this, and I thought, well, this is great because it's got. It has reverb, digital delay, chorus,
Yeah.
and a boost, which is great. You're going to play some lead,
Yeah.
so and it's it's nice and small and compact. It's not too involved, so
No, it's nice. I was admiring it actually.
yeah, it
Yeah,
kind
nice.
of does the job.
When my
actually-
DI inevitably kicks the bucket, I might
Yeah.
look into those.
Yeah, I'm actually digging it because, Ben, that I'm working on a solo thing,
Yeah.
and I actually just had this conversation with my son about how, oh man, I have to build a pedal board, for the acoustic. I got to get myself a delay, and I'm probably a chorus or a reverb or something, and I got to get this and that. Whatever. That looked like it had everything. I was thinking about
yeah,
getting it all
really
in one.
kind of does. I mean, for,
Yeah.
for an
And
acoustic player,
it seems simple enough to operate. It wasn't one of these ginormous boards with 38 pedals on it. So.
Yeah,
This
that
can be
Fishman that I
sometimes.
have,
They
that
scare the
Fishman that
crap
I
out
have
of me.
does the same thing. It has the different
Yeah.
multi effects. There's a few on the market actually.
I'll have
Like,
to
yeah.
look into that because I was realistically thinking like different pedals and
Yeah,
but that pretty much had everything I was looking
I
for.
actually just bought a Helix Stomp LT, which is it's basically almost like that same size, and it just does.
it's like the mini Helix.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
amazing the amount of things that thing will do. Way more than I would probably ever even use, but
Yeah,
I'm still working on it. I we talk about.
Well, you were saying something earlier about attention span or something when you were talking
Yeah,
about
yeah, it's-
practicing and all that kind of stuff and playing guitar and but that's me with
That's me with
the gear and the pedals and all that stuff. I mean, if I can't figure it out in a fairly short amount of time, I lose interest really fast.
That's
Really
exactly
fast.
what I do.
Yeah.
But what I do is I buy pedals that somebody else has already figured out.
oh, there you go.
That's-
then how it works.
That's where I go, man.
Yeah. Well, if you ever get stuck with anything like that, Scott Gaylor, shout out to him. He's guest we've had on twice. Is we have like this podcast affiliated with with a wizard in that. He's unbelievable. This guy.
He knows pretty much everything there is to know about every pedal on the market.
Yeah,
Kind of ridiculous.
That's somebody to know.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
It's like having a good mechanic, you know.
Yeah, exactly
right. On your
exactly
speed dial, you know.
Exactly. All right, let's have a look at Paddy's setup. So, can you tell us a bit about this guy?
Yeah, so this is kind of the opposite of what we were just looking at.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so this does too many things.
Yeah.
So first I'd like to point out that the patch that's currently on there says Dennis is dead, which I made because our bass player Dennis had injured himself. He fractured his wrist at one point. So this one, where it says F2 on it, the purple one there, if I hit that, it kind of turns the violin into a upright bass.
Yeah.
And it has like a smart harmony octave dropping thing, and I have the 5-string fiddle, so it's already lower, so it goes super low, like in the cello bass range.
Yeah. That's
but
great.
yeah, this is the Firehawk. It's
like pre-Helix,
line
isn't it?
6. It's before the Helix.
Right.
But I like it because it's got Bluetooth. You can do everything on your phone. All EQ. You can.
Right,
It's just
yeah.
got a million things. Loopers.
Yeah.
The only thing I used on the songs we just played are the 2 little green ones. I have 2 delays.
Right.
And one's a ping pong stereo delay, and the other one is more of just a subtle kind of delay to fill out the ambient kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's got nice. It just works, and you can make a million presets, and I have them for all my instruments.
Cool.
And then it goes into the wah pedal there,
Is that
which
a Crybaby?
which is a Crybaby, and I've tried a couple. I used to use a Morley for a while, but I really like this one.
A lot of people like the Vox. A lot of people say the Vox is nice because it has like a smaller range. But I've got a Crybaby. That's what I
like
use.
the big range for the fiddle too.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I'll use it I'll just find that spot and use it for a tone more than even as a wah. So.
Yeah, cool.
And then that goes out into also it's a line 6. It's what the G10S, I think. It's the little wireless transceiver thing.
Yeah, that's cool. I've got one of those. But I don't really like, for some reason on my acoustic guitar, it makes this humming noise. I haven't managed to figure out. I haven't managed to troubleshoot that yet. It's really frustrating. But yeah, it works perfectly for you. So it must be something I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been working well for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Well, thanks for showing us all your gear, guys. Have you got any shows coming up?
Yes, Patty and I will be at All Sports tomorrow night, 7 to 10, on Indiantown Road in Jupiter.
Cool.
Thursday nights, every Thursday night we do Taylor Farmhouse out in the Jupiter Farms with, there's 3 of us, Paige.
Every Thursday.
Paige plays amazing percussion.
Nice.
Kind of fills it out, rounds it out even a little bit more.
Yeah. What everyone can't see is that one of the members of In the Light of Led Zeppelin, the drummer Paige, is in the room.
In the studio with us, just not on camera.
Yeah. So big up to Paige. Thanks for being so patient for us as well.
Yeah, she does amazing. She plays percussion, you know. And then we now have her playing drums, a full drum kit with us in the formation that we have, the project we have going.
Right.
With the rest of the String Assassins. And then Friday, that particular project will be at Taco Tiki in Jensen Beach.
Right. Okay, cool. I really like that place. We play there a lot.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun place.
Yeah.
We've
I
been
like
there.
it
We've
too.
been there quite a few times.
Yeah, I feel like we play there about once every month or two for the last, since it opened pretty much. It's a cool spot.
Yeah, it is a fun spot.
I used to play there when it was Kona Beach Cafe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know about it then. You're a bit from more up that way, though.
Yeah,
aren't you?
I actually lived at the top of the hill there in Jensen for like 10 years. So
Got it.
that was my first gigs. I would just I had a bass amp that I'd play in, like an old Ampeg tube amp, and I'd just roll it down the hill and then play the fiddle, and then getting it back home was a little more
story.
interesting.
Yeah. 3 sheets to the wind with a giant tube amp.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Pretty funny.
What are we doing this weekend?
Friday, I don't think we're playing.
Right, yeah.
Saturday, you and James are doing a duo at Square Grouper, I believe.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night we're playing at O'Shea's in West Palm downtown.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I feel like that's one of Kilbilly's spiritual homes.
absolutely. I love playing there.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, are you doing a solo on Sunday? Or?
What's going on Sunday? I'll check. So
Please hold.
I know, yeah.
I feel like you might be doing
Oh
a
yeah,
solo.
I'm playing at Handlebars.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to make
Speaking
sure
of,
we
absolutely,
we got
yeah.
that in there.
Yeah, come and see me play at Handlebars. We've been doing we were doing 2 to 5, but we moved it a bit later. I'm going to be there from 4 to 7. So
Okay.
I want
So,
to
yeah,
make it up.
come-
I'm off on Sunday. I think I'm going to come up and check it out.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've just started using my looper out. I don't know why, but I just had it in my head that I was too good for a looper or something. But I've kind of relented, and I'm using it now. And I really enjoy it. Actually, I've got one of those the big I
The
can't
Boss.
remember. Yeah, but the one with like all the different.
Yeah, I got one of those.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I got the single, the duo.
Yeah.
I got that one, and then I haven't even figured out how to use them either. So, and then I bought the Boss. Boss makes a nice. Their latest incarnation is really nice too.
Oh,
It's a
cool.
smaller version. Yeah.
Yeah, I should check that out. I wonder if that was one of the pedals Scott had on his thing the other day.
Oh,
Can't
maybe.
remember what they call
Maybe,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a
Yeah,
minute
absolutely.
since we've hung out, so this is fun.
Thanks for having us,
Absolutely.
man. We really appreciate it, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cool thing you're doing too. This is awesome.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take it by the scene, it's what we're doing.